Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Carzar. And welcome to Pakistan's only Ferrari F430 Spider. Admittedly, I don't have the top down right now, but that's because it feels like about 50 degrees outside. And as much as I would love to experience this car with the top off, I don't want to torture myself in the process. Now, I was going to do just your general review that I normally do, but then I very quickly realized that this car is getting on for 15 years old at this point. So I thought it would be more entertaining if I compared the Ferrari F430 and sort of looked at it as a 15-year-old car and see if it's still relevant as a supercar. Now, obviously, it goes without saying, the first part about a supercar that you notice at least is the performance capabilities of a car. And really, I want to know how a 15-year-old Ferrari performs. So this car came out the factory with 485 horsepower and a curb weight of around 1500 kilograms. But this F430 has just a little bit more than that. As if it wasn't special enough being Pakistan's only Ferrari F430 Spider, this Ferrari F430 has been tuned by Simon Motorsport in Dubai to make 550 horsepower. And not just that, but as you can probably hear, it's been fitted with a full IPE exhaust system. That sounds amazing. I'm going to get on to how the car feels later, but this aspect of the video is about performance. So like I said, the car's been tuned to make 550 horsepower. Comparing that to some other supercars, like let's say the Lamborghini Huracan LP580-2, this car's only about, 30 horsepower down? And that's impressive, man. For a car to be 15 years old, but have almost as much horsepower as a modern supercar is incredible. A lot of you, with regards to the performance, are probably wondering about the performance of the transmission. And, well, as you can see, I am being lurched around quite a bit. And really that's the one area where I feel like the Ferrari F430 does feel a little bit dated. The transmission isn't as quick as your modern Ferraris, Porsches, Lamborghinis, but, and this is a massive thing to take into consideration, it's so much fun. The sense of involvement, which I will elaborate on later, because of the single clutch, is unparalleled, man. Yeah, you feel the double clutch quickness, the efficiency. Do you miss that? Honestly, I don't think so. So now that we have the performance out of the way, what I want to talk about next is probably this car's only weak link, and that's the technology found in this car. So obviously new supercars are all about the latest, greatest technology, both for driver assistance as well as for your creature comforts, your interior space. It's not as technologically advanced as a lot of the newer supercars. For example, there's no big digital dashboard. You can't control every element of your driving style. In newer cars like my supercharged Audi R8, I can control the damping, the steering setting, and the overall drive mode as well. I can do that in my AMG as well. Whereas in this, I'm limited to Ferrari's Manettino switch. Admittedly, going through the modes, you do feel a difference between each and every single one. But at the end of the day, you have to take into consideration that it's not as advanced as the modern supercars. Secondly, speaking about technology, the interior doesn't have all the creature comforts that you get in a modern supercar. Like, for example, there's no, obviously it's a 2004, man. You can't expect it to have things like Apple CarPlay, even, you know, a nice radio. Admit, this one actually has the Bose sound system, which sounds really good. But as far as I can tell, there's really no way to connect your phone and play your own music. So that's something that one needs to take into consideration. That said, the interior is still an extremely beautiful place to sit. The red interior, first of all, can I just say, with the white contrast stitching, whoever spec'd this car, man, you're an absolute genius. And there's carbon fiber literally everywhere you look. If you're not touching leather, you're touching either carbon fiber or some nice carpet. You know, it's incredible. And obviously these carbon fiber shift paddles, a Ferrari classic. Wow. So moving on from the technology, let's talk about something that is subjective, I will admit. It depends on individual opinion, but something that does matter when looking at purchasing a supercar, and that is the aesthetic appeal of the car. Now, I, for one, loved the Ferrari F430 when it came out. In fact, I've always loved Ferraris. And back in 2004, when I was 6 years old, I remember looking at a picture of this car in red with tan interior and aspiring to own that exact car in that exact specification. Because that's what I really wanted in life when I grew up, man. A red Ferrari with tan interior. And I don't know about you, but when the car first came out, it was striking, it was beautiful. But in my opinion, the Ferrari F430 has aged very well. And really, that's incredible to me how a car looked so good when it was new, but for some reason manages to look even better now. Especially with Ferrari having dropped Pininfarina as their designers. I don't know about you, but I think this does look better than the 488 for sure. It's got this more Ferrari vibe to it. I don't know, maybe it's nostalgia speaking, but it's a great looking car outside, and inside, like I said, the interior, although isn't packed with all the technologies you'd want in a supercar, has pretty much everything else, man. Like, the materials are second to none. I've been in more modern Lamborghinis that don't feel as good as this on the inside. And speaking of modern Lamborghinis, they're not as fun. I don't know how to explain it, but James May always referred to this one existential force almost that he referred to as the Fizz. And that to me is how fun a car is to drive. Does the Ferrari F430 have Fizz? Absolutely it does, man. Wow, wow, wow. How does it feel to drive? Next level. Yeah, you have the single clutch transmission, but now that I'm in race mode, you really feel how brilliant it is. Sure, around town it gets a little bit clunky, a little bit, especially in auto mode. I would never drive this car in auto mode. But it is a straight piped Ferrari F430, so really, who would? It's just a soulful symphony of noises and tactile feedback, and my goodness, man. Just listen to this, 8,500 RPM redline, alright? I'm going to 7,000, and it already sounds better than any 488. I don't care what exhaust system you have on it, I don't care if you take the bloody exhaust system off. You cannot make a 488, even a Pista sound is good. What do I think about the F430? Well, what is there not to think about it, man? It's a brilliant car. Is it still a supercar? Absolutely. 100% yes. And it's not just a supercar. It's a brilliant supercar. And it's not because of the performance, it's not because of the way it looks. A lot of newer cars look a lot better. They are a lot faster. But the Ferrari F430 does something that those cars don't. It manages to make getting into it an occasion every single time. You look around, you feel around, and before you even start the car, you know you're in something that isn't normal. There's no sense of normalcy about this cabin, about this car. And really that's its biggest strong point. The fact that even when you're driving it slowly, like I am right now, you're still having more fun than you would if you're driving some modern supercars flat out. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed my is it still relevant with the Ferrari F430 Spider. The answer to that question is, once again, absolutely. It's still a supercar, and it's a smashing supercar. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, let me know what you want to see next. Cars are out.